Being compliant is just straightforward. Being maliciously compliant? Well, that's another story. Welcome to this episode of Malicious Compliance. Our first one is from Zodiac72826. This is probably super mild compared to most things posted here, but I just remembered it and it made me laugh. So here goes. When I was in high school, far longer ago than I care to admit, I was a bagger at a local grocery store. One of the policies of the store was that we had to offer help to everyone to take groceries out to their car. Anytime someone elderly or someone with a lot of bags came through the line, I would offer to help, and many of them accepted. There were a lot of parents with kids that turned down the help because they would make their clones help instead. I quickly learned who was going to accept the offer and who wasn't. So if they fit the criteria for not being interested in help, I didn't bother to ask. They always refused, so why keep asking? Well, one day my manager is hovering while I'm bagging, and a lady bought a carton of eggs and a loaf of bread. I smiled and wished her a nice day, handing her the single, featherweight bag, and she smiled and returned the greeting, and was on her way. My manager noticed I didn't offer to help her out and scolded me, and I just pointed out that she had one partially filled bag that was super light, so probably wouldn't have needed help. He emphasized that it was the store policy and I need to offer to help everyone. The next guy in line was definitely a gym rat, a foot taller than me, biceps as big as my head, a tight tank top, and basketball shorts. It's been so long I can't remember what he bought, but it occupied a single bag and wasn't heavy. I double bagged it, still in front of my hovering manager, and said, "Sir, would you like me to help carry all of your groceries out to your car?" He laughed, saw I wasn't also laughing, and his expression changed to utter confusion. He looked at me like I'd just asked him what shampoo he used on his armpit hair. It was 95% confusion and 5% suspicion at what game I could be playing with him. He looked at my manager with a new look that said, "Is this kid okay?" Then turned back to me, still chuckling a little bit in confusion, and said, Nah man, I think I got it." He took his bag of protein powder and eggs or whatever it actually was and walked out, shaking his head. I looked at my manager and shrugged. His expression read as, "Yeah, alright, fine." And he went back to the office. He never hovered or enforced the policy again after that. Like I said, super mild and short compared to a lot of posts on here, but it was my first case of malicious compliance, so hopefully you guys got a laugh out of it as well. Edit to add, since a lot of people asked, it wasn't Publix or Safeway. It was a very small local chain of grocery stores, and the one I worked at closed a decade ago. I mean, I completely get that places have policies, and I mean, it's good on the manager to enforce said policies, but sometimes those policies are just outright stupid. The way the OP maliciously complied though, I hope that manager saw just how stupid that policy made OP look. This next one is by Jealous Surround 228. Quite a few years ago, I was the senior graphics designer for a sign shop. This one customer was always a pain in the butt. But you get that and you try to keep the returning client happy. One day, the owner sent over a design for a new sign to go on a scoreboard as part of their sponsorship package at a local sports oval. This meant we invoiced the football club, not them. Now, their logo is maroon and she wanted a red background, when usually it was white. I told her that I don't recommend it because, for one, you'd not be able to read it from a distance, across the other side of the oval, the colors are too close, and two, it would look shit. I was a bit more professional. Usually, we would just make the logo all white, but she insisted that she wanted a maroon one. Well, the sign was made and installed, and because I've been doing this job for a long time, well, it looked shit. Oh well, we were paid, client was happy, move on. A few months later, she asks for another sign to replace it as apparently it's hard to see from a distance and her husband, also working in the business, isn't happy. Go figure. She also says that we should do it for free of charge because it looks shit and it's my fault. Remember, the football club had to pay for it. I politely told her no. She approved the design, remember? So her husband writes me a harsh email about how I should never have made it that color, that it's not in line with his company's brand, and I need to replace it. I got the feeling that this wife was blaming me, so I sent him the receipts, the whole email chain with my recommendations, her insistence, and approvals. Said no, I will not be replacing it free of charge. Shortly after, wife writes me another email saying they will never use my business again. Delete all their files now. Thank you. Done. Hallelujah. I will never have to deal with her again. Although deep down, I knew that would not be the case, as we also sponsored that sports oval. The club used us for all of their signs and printing, and I knew that I would need to have their logo for something sometime in the future. Knowing this, I maliciously complied. Delete. Now we just can't use a JPEG or PNG file. We need special files that I had set up for their business, all on brand to print consistently at the right color. Like years worth of files, adverts, and signs. This meant it can be very easy for us to just slot in pre-designed work when needed. A 5-minute job in some cases. Maybe a few months later, the football club needs their program printed, with all the sponsors included. My time to shine. I was so happy. Mentioned it to my contact that I need this business logo and advert. He said he will get them and send it through. Now, I'm not sure why, but they never sent it through for me on time. It was so strange. So I sent printing proofs without this particular logo or advert added. Mentioned I still didn't have it, and if they wanted this printed in time, I needed it as soon as possible. I was kinda hoping that I could print it without them in it, but the footy club were diligent and wanted them in. I then get a short message from this business saying to just add their usual advert. What? The one you told me to delete a few months back? Sorry, I don't have it. You need to send me a print-ready file in this size. About 2 weeks later, I got the ad to put in. They mentioned to keep it on file for future designs. I heard that they had to pay someone to design up something for them. They also got someone else to make up a new sign to replace the shit one. They would have had to pay for that too, as the club never ordered one through us. I still stick my finger up as I drive past their business. The one thing I never really get about these people that are so hell-bent on having things done their way, if they're not even in the business of what they're trying to have done for them, I don't know how they can have all of this knowledge to know what would work best. And honestly, I'm not even hopeful that these people learn their lesson. And our final one is from Deleted. I work as an office cleaner for a small company. My job description is pretty straightforward, but there's one manager who insists on giving very specific instructions on how she wants the office cleaned. I'm used to a little guidance, but this manager, let's call her Karen, has taken it to a whole new level. One day, Karen gives me a very detailed list of things she wants done during my shift. One item stood out: clean the kitchen counters with the exact brand of cleaner in the bag storage room. No other cleaner will do. Okay, no big deal. I've cleaned the office plenty of times, but this was the first time I'd been given such a specific request. So I go to the bag storage room and grab the cleaner she mentioned. No problem. But then I notice something odd. This cleaner that she wants me to use is way past its expiration date and smells like chemicals that shouldn't even be used in an office. I'm talking a strong, toxic smell that could easily knock out a small animal. I thought about going to her and mentioning the expired cleaner, but then I remembered her exact words. No other cleaner will do. So I decided to follow her instructions exactly, despite the potential risk of making the kitchen smell like a hazardous waste site. I started cleaning the counters, and the smell filled the whole office. Employees walking by covered their noses and commented on how bad it smelled. One even asked if there had been a chemical spill. But I didn't stop. I just kept cleaning the way Karen had instructed. The smell was unbearable, and people were starting to get visibly irritated. But I just kept wiping down those counters, making sure I was using the exact brand of cleaner. Finally, Karen came out of her office, saw the situation, and took a deep breath. "What is that smell?" she asked, coughing a little. I calmly said, "Well, you asked for the counters to be cleaned with the exact brand of cleaner in the back storage room, and that's what I used." She went completely silent, then muttered something about being more specific next time, before quickly retreating to her office. I just stood there, watching the employees scramble to open windows and air out the office. I knew I'd followed the instructions exactly, and if she wanted to be that specific about the cleaner, well, that's her problem. Kinda funny that she requests a cleaner be used but doesn't even know if that cleaner is still good or not. It does make me wonder if Karen had a scheme to make the office smell up and then get out of work early or something. Who knows? But good on the OP for following instructions. Alright, that's enough maliciousness for the day. Well, that wraps up this episode of Malicious Compliance. If you liked the video, please drop a like, share my content on all of your social media, subscribe if you haven't already, and make sure to hit that bell so you're notified every time I upload, and drop a comment down below. It really helps with the algorithm and helps new people find my channel. Thanks for watching, thanks to my patrons and super thanks contributors. Have a great day and stay safe out there.